Hey everybody, and welcome to C3 Films. Today we're doing another episode of It Wasn't That Good on The Fast and the Furious 9. If you haven't seen it yet, we're going to talk spoilers, so go ahead and watch it first, then come back and listen in. Tell us what you think. I am Cheryl. This is...
Chris.
And let's get going.
It's called F9, The Fast Saga, right?
Oh, snap. Of course I did. I was just trying to, make sure the people out there who didn't know that it was called that would know what we're talking about because it's the Fast and Furious
It's okay.
lineup.
Nobody knows.
I haven't seen any of them except for half of the first one. This is, new to me.
Wait, this is the first Fast and the Furious movie you've ever seen?
If you don't count Hobbs and Shaw, yeah, this is the first. I watched half of the first one. Don't rub your face. I'm not into this kind of stuff. So
No, I'm rubbing my face because I'm sorry.
oh.
If I had known, I wouldn't have suggested this be the first one you watch.
Oh, it was thoroughly confusing, but I can tell you. I do have a baseline because I did watch part of the first one, so I'm gonna start off by saying that I'm glad that they what they did with the female characters. I'm glad that they made them more than just set pieces in this movie. I don't know how it was in the other ones, but just comparing the latest one to the very first one that was made in the 90s. That's partially why I couldn't finish the movie because I was just like, this is really bleh. I can't I can't sit here and watch this sausage movie with the ladies just hanging out. Like, why are they even in the movie? I don't get it. But anyway, we're here to talk about the ninth movie, which is very different. A lot of characters who I have no idea who they are, and a lot of characters that have barely any presence in the movie at all. It's like hundreds of cameos, and I'm just assuming that they're from the other movies.
Yeah, so everybody that you see in this movie, for the most part, are from the other movies. And the other movies, like, you probably want to at least start by watching Fast Five. Fast Five is kind of like the movie that kind of, I think, really propelled them. Like, the story started to come together in Fast Four, but like Fast Five was like that movie where they introduced Dwayne Johnson, and then they got all these other things going on, and then it just kind of took off from there. But yeah, all these characters are from. It's kind of like you watch the ninth movie of a Marvel franchise movie.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of characters that you missed out on. But I mean, the movies were always kind of silly and a little ridiculous. But this movie, oh my gosh. This movie took stretching your imagination and all that to a whole new level. I don't even know where to start with this movie.
Yeah, Straka, you're exactly right. I had no idea what's going on. In my notes, I literally wrote the first thing, what's going on? I have no idea what is happening. But yeah,
So, like, I'm trying to figure out how to even talk about this movie since now you don't have the context of the other movies.
I got
I
a little
mean,
bit of context because I was watching it with my boyfriend, so he was kind of filling in the blanks for me. Although he only watched the first one and Tokyo Drift, I think, and I think he might have watched 5 or 6, but he was giving me the background for it, and he was like, it, and I've seen Hobbs and Shaw, so I do understand that it could get like ridiculous, but this was kind of really like bonkers. But the thing that I liked about it though, because I understood that. So this is what I was saying earlier, the beginning of our stream. It knows what it is. Like the people who made this movie knew what they were trying to do, and they knew what the world of Fast and Furious is, and they just stuck with it. And I think that's fine because, you know, they were consistent. It's like this is the kind of thing that they do in these kind of movies. And I saw that in Hobbs and Shaw. It's just kind of crazy stuff happening. And it's an action movie. And it's exactly what you would expect from an action movie. Although it's a little bit more over the top.
I mean, when we saw them run across a bridge that was falling, but somehow they still drive across it, I was like, you guys do not know how gravity or bridges work.
Yeah,
If a bridge goes out, it's going out. You can't keep driving on it. There's not like a delayed reaction where the bridge still can hold your weight and let you drive across it.
Yeah, they are not driving fast enough for it's for gravity to where like gravity and velocity, inertia, whatever. It doesn't work that way. I'm not a scientist, but I know that is definitely not realistic. And then the other car, they like have like this grappling hook for them to like.
Grappling hook.
Yeah.
It's a part of the bridge.
But the thing that I thought was funny was they had that one character like actually, you know, break the fourth wall, and he was talking about being invincible and how like they do all this crazy stuff, but they don't die, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. They're
Yeah, you're self-aware.
Yeah, they're being self-aware, and they're basically telling us like, listen, we're not trying to like be realistic. We're just putting them through all this stuff because it's cool, kind of thing. So I was okay, I get it.
But then what the heck is this Looney Tunes crap where Tyrese is like standing there and then the car like literally lands on top of him and then he walks out the other side and he's just like, I'm okay.
I think it landed right in front of him.
Oh,
I don't think it landed on him. That wouldn't have been. I thought he did die, and I was like, whoa, I like this movie.
I know you would. That would have been the thing to keep you going.
Right.
Oh man. But yes, and then yes, that part that you're talking about, they drive the car, and this was in the trailer, so we knew it was coming. So that part wasn't even like, that was just like to prepare you. But they drive the car into like that leftover bridge part and hook the rope onto the wood. Hook the rope onto like the wheel, and the rope is strong enough to not only hold the car's weight but to literally swing the car completely to the other side. I was just happy that at least the car didn't keep rolling when it got to the other side. It at least crashed and flipped. So I was like, okay, they were trying to be that ridiculous, but they just wanted you to know, oh yeah, we're going to be doing some stuff in this movie. And the moment they introduce magnets into this movie, that's when this movie gets wild.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, so they're using cars to throw around other cars at other cars. Got it. With magnets.
Wait,
that apparently are so strong that they could magnetize a whole truck and everything, but if a lady holds a laptop down, it won't move at all.
That's not how that works. She's just like, oh, all right, I'm gonna hold this. What? This thing can pull cars. But also, why you messing around, like destroying equipment, just to pull a joke on your friend? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, and then like the part that got me, and I had to rewind it because I was like, this is not just dumb, but guys, you guys even just failed with your CG. But it's when they're chasing John Cena, who has the world's longest zip line, by the way. And when he finally like gets to like a car and he's driving and they're chasing him and they're in the truck that has the giant magnet. And it's a really cool idea because he's on the other side of a building. So she flips the magnet and then the magnet pulls the car and it pulls it literally into the truck. So fine, I can buy the fact that the truck didn't like get like the force didn't like just push the truck to the point where you just flipped over too. Fine, I can maybe buy that, but the car literally disappears when he gets pulled into the truck, it literally disappears in the CG. It's just gone. And then on top of that, you're like, wait, also, this truck is now holding a car. Like, this truck would be weighted down and would not drive the same way. And there's just so many problems here. But wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, after those two guys go to space, I was like, so. I was like, okay, yeah, they're really going crazy with this. And then I was just like, I feel this is like a sci-fi movie now because this is like some crazy stuff happening here. And when they said they were gonna go to space, I actually wasn't surprised. I was like, okay, yeah, that's what they're gonna do. That's how
You
this
also
world
left
is.
out Cheryl. You left out Cheryl. They went to space in
In
a car.
a car.
No pressurization chambers, no like protection, insulation from the heat or anything else like that other than their suits. Nothing. In a car.
Yeah.
And then they actually stick shift. They do a gear shift in space to drive forward in a car with no wheels.
Yeah. They really topped it there. I don't know if they make another movie, I don't know how they're gonna make it more ridiculous than this one.
Oh my gosh. And see, the whole thing that the reason they went to space is because forever we've been joking, wow, they've been doing everything. The only thing they haven't done is gone to space. I guess we're going to space. And then they're less like, the writers are like, we see you, internet. Wink, wink. Oh my gosh.
That's great. I mean, it like I said, it knew what it was and it leaned into it. I think that it just knew what it was. Have they gone underwater? Oh no.
Oh, wait, do they go in? Well, there was a submarine in
kind
the eighth movie, but I don't think they've gone underwater specifically.
But did they drive a car underwater
No, I don't think they've driven a car underwater yet.
with magnets?
With magnets. Oh my gosh. And see, there's this like there's a thing in this movie. So like in Fast and Furious, I believe it was 6. Yeah, it was Faster and the Furious 6. Is when Letty is found to be alive and they're going after her. And literally what ends up happening is that they crash into a barricade on a highway while she's on top of the car and she gets launched off of the car. And so she's gonna like fall to her death. But what Vin Diesel does is he crashes his own car and then launches himself out and then grabs her in midair and like stops her and then like goes into like a car window and then they're both fine. When I first saw that, I was just like, this is dumb, but it was kind of cool, but whatever. And apparently this movie realized that was like a really cool thing, so they decided to make everybody catch people with cars in this movie. And it was nuts. Like, I think Letty gets caught with a car at one point. There's another point where John Cena is about to fall and they literally hit a car into where he's gonna fall, so that he lands on the car, falls off that car, and lands onto another car, and he is just fine. Like, what? And let's not even talk about Letty literally chucking a car at a dude on top of a car.
Yeah, I mean, and I thought it was bad when like they have all these people just jumping off of high places, out of windows and stuff, and I was like, this just seems like they're too high for them to not like die from jumping out of a building or like a ledge or something. But
Oh no, they're
like
superheroes.
fine. Yeah, I was like, but again, see, that's why I thought it was really good how they were being all self-aware with that one character being all like, we're invincible. And he was just like I got shot. Because like literally that scene when he was running away and they were all shooting at him at the beginning when they're on that like island. And he like all the bullets were like on his vest. Well, first of all, that's not how bulletproof vests work.
No.
But second of all, I was actually questioning it. I was like, I wrote it down. I was like, how are they missing? They're like the worst shooters ever. And then he was like, we're invincible. Look, I got shot so many times, but I'm like not even a scratch. And I was like, yeah, I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Freaking movie. So that part is so irritating.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, just because you call attention to it, movie, doesn't mean that it's okay.
Nah,
Because,
take it.
well, no, because then at that point, then what are the stakes? It's like you're not going to worry about anything now. It's like, I mean,
That's
yes, I guess we
exactly what
realize
they
that these
did.
characters are not going to die, but at least try to make me believe that that maybe they might die. Like,
I liked it. I thought it was a good idea for them to just be like, hell with it. Let's just tell them that no one is gonna die and let's do whatever the heck we want, and that will explain away how everyone is completely fine and we can still
oh,
do all these crazy stunts. I
I mean,
think yeah.
like, and the one time when they have like where they're trying to convince you that someone could die is when it's the main character Dom, and like no lie, this dude is 1v is 1v like 30ing like a bunch of people who at one point had guns, but I guess like decided they were better off not using them, and then is literally like shucking people off of buildings, breaking their backs. It's a cool scene, but then in Fast and Furious fashion, this dude by himself literally pulls down a building. He pulls down a building on top of himself, causing the thing that he's standing on, the bridge he's standing on, and the roof above him to just collapse, killing everybody else but himself.
Yeah, that was some super strength stuff there. But what really got me asking questions is how did Letty get down there, and then
And then how did she get back up?
how'd she get him back up?
And how did she pick up his big ass?
Exactly.
Oh, God, it doesn't matter. I made a joke the other day that there's nothing you can't solve with the power of off screen,
Yeah.
and that is one thing I have learned in like from movies is that
Oh
doesn't matter.
man.
It happened off screen.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I know it sounds a lot like we actually really enjoyed this movie, and you know I kind of did. I'm just gonna say like I feel like I enjoyed it because I had an expectation and the expectation was met. They kind of set the playing field for me and they stuck with it. They had really good Star Wars references.
Oh my God. Okay, I will give you that. There is a Star Wars piece of dialogue in this movie that is delivered by Charlize Theron that is by far one of the best moments in this movie. And Charlize Theron is like barely in this movie, but when she's in this movie, oh my God, we just love her. But she has the single best line of quotable dialogue in this movie that I will not spoil here, but it is it is prime. That
Yeah.
it yes, that was one of those times where I was like, all right, writers, that was a good one.
Yeah, I like that part very much. But yeah, I mean, the problem though with this movie, I guess the only real problem is just that there's a whole lot of it that just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But that honestly is the only real problem that I see with it. It's just that the movie doesn't make sense.
I
I guess
mean,
that
one of
would
the
be a
biggest
pretty
issues, like, because the movie almost wants to say that, like, if we bring it up ourselves, then it's okay, and it's like, no, you still gotta explain it. Like, this is the ninth movie. We're just finding out about this brother that Dom has apparently had his entire life. He's never been mentioned at all once because he didn't exist. But then when you get him, he looks nothing like Vin Diesel. And so you're like, oh, you have a mixed family bloodline. But when I see his father, it looks like he knows Spanish like as his first language. So where did this blonde dude come from?
Yeah, I mean they did kind of threw like one line in there to explain it away, which was that there was like some Norwegian, um, like mix in there, and that's why the brother looks like that. But I was like, okay, and then
I'm like, I need to see your mother.
I was
Show me
like,
your mother.
I guess they have like the same nose, sort of, which is just very large, but and they're both very like big and muscular. But besides that, they really look nothing like each other, and their younger selves look more Hispanic than, yeah, what's his name? Peacemaker.
Right? And and Mia, I mean, she's clearly Hispanic. You see her, there's no mistake. She looks like she came from the same family tree. And this kid seems like he was with them the entire time. So I'm just like, kind of strange that they never got mentioned and never got invited to the family barbecue. But that's where we're at now in these movies. So okay, there we go. Let's just roll with it. But then the other part that the movie doesn't make sense is the fact that he doesn't actually make a decision to be on their side of his own volition. He only chooses to help them at the end of the movie because he gets betrayed by the main villain because main villain needs to betray somebody. Like, there's literally no reason to betray him at that point in the movie because he's done his job. He's done his job well. If anything, the other villain, who's the leader, is the one that's been messing up more. But they've been showing themselves to be pretty reliable, but he just turns on John Cena just because it's a movie and we need to have him turn on John Cena. And now that he's turned on John Cena, now he's on the good guy's side again. But it's like, well, and normally when you want to redeem a character, you make it their choice to redeem themselves. But this was, if the main villain didn't betray John Cena would have still done his main villain plan and it would have been business as usual. So forgiving that character at the end of the movie does not feel as earned as I think they wanted it to feel.
I guess, although I feel like that, I mean, to bring up that whole Star Wars conversation again, I am
Yeah.
gonna spoil it. Basically, Charlize just says that he's a puppet, and that's what, to me, triggers the betrayal. Like, there would have been no betrayal had she not said that thing to him. So, there's
But a
that.
puppet
I
to
would
who?
agree. A puppet to,
John
John's...
Cena works for him.
Oh. No, they're partners.
I mean, yeah, I guess they're partners, but John Cena's not like the one really calling the strings. It actually does show as a partnership.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean that's the reason that they give. So, but I accepted it. Again, I wasn't expecting a lot from the
You were
movies. I
expecting
was
an
just
Oscar
like,
film.
yeah, I was like, all right, that's the explanation they want to give. It's not really about like the story and the characters. It's more about the action and the crazy things that they're doing. I wasn't really following what the heck was going on, why they went to space. Something about a satellite. I don't get it, but they went there.
Yep. And
But
they drove into a satellite in space and did not die.
yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, they basically told us that they wouldn't die, but like multiple times. But I would agree that the whole thing about him not making a choice, a real choice on his own to become a good guy, I feel like it would have done the movie a disservice if they had spent time to give him to like ponder that and then make a decision. And to like add a whole nother thing in the movie to give him a reason to switch sides.
Maybe, but then at the end of the day, it still doesn't make sense that they're able to just forgive him willy nilly because he's still evil. He hasn't earned the right to come back to the family barbecue.
Their family. Oh, that barbecue, by the way. I just thought it was weird because I thought they would have killed off Paul Walker's character because the actor passed away.
Yeah.
But they like kind of kept him around like for like how many movies? 4 movies. He still exists in the world.
Yeah. Well, I guess the last movie he was in 7, so 2 movies since 7, and I can understand because it's like it's one of those things where you want to pay respect to a character, and it doesn't always feel like you're paying respect to a character by killing off the character just like the person died in real life. So for them, it's important that his character lives on within the story of the world, despite the fact that he doesn't. And that actually is something that I like. I do like the fact that they treat his character with reverence. And as far as the story goes within the world, he's still around and being their friend and being a good dad.
It
So
just felt a little weird to me, but I guess if they were gonna do that where they were gonna keep his character alive, I think they did it right.
mhm.
And that being that they didn't like try to replace him with
Yes.
like a deep fake or anything like that. They didn't do what they did to Carrie Fisher
Yeah,
and using
right.
like weird footage and yeah, it not making the story making any sense. Well, I mean, any less sense, but I think
Hmm.
that if they were gonna do it, that they made a good choice by showing the car.
Not him.
I'm guessing that car was his car from the previous movie.
His style of car, yeah.
So I thought that was cool. I just thought it was weird that they would, talk about him and be like, "Oh yeah, he's so like." I almost feel like it would have been better had they just like not really mentioned him at all. But they dedicated a whole like scene to him almost by having that
And they kind of
happen.
needed to because he's married to Mia in the story, and they had to bring Mia into this story because it doesn't make sense to have a story about a brother that is family to Vin Diesel and not have Mia, who is the sister, to would be the same sister. So they had to bring her in, but because she's married to him, you can't bring her in without mentioning him. Um, Yes, they didn't do the barbecue immediately. He actually wasn't at the family barbecue at the end of the movie. He actually drives off John Cena, so he doesn't actually come to the family barbecue, but they make it sound like he's invited. Um, so yes, and yes, to answer your question, they drove a car into a satellite like a full-on collision that caused an explosion in the satellite to go offline. So, um, but yes, I like the fact that his character is still around, but I do like what they have done in the past, like in the last movie, where it's just a thing of he and Mia gotten out of the game and they're just living their life and taking care of their kid, and the rest of everybody else is still doing their thing. So it sounds like they're gonna make a 10th movie of this. I think they want to do a 10th movie. Justin Lin is not coming back to direct the movie because apparently it seems like he does not like working with Vin Diesel anymore. And we already know that Dwayne Johnson is not coming back to the franchise because he also does not like working with Vin Diesel. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, and that reminds me. Speaking of Justin Lin, because whenever Justin Lin does a movie, he always brings Sung Kang in the movies as in his movies as well, the guy who plays Han. And you watch this movie and you don't know this because you didn't see Tokyo Drift, but Tokyo Drift Han dies, and in the movie and I think it's in Fast, the end of Fast 7 is when it's either no, I think it's the end of Fast 6. I can't remember. I think it's the end of Fast 6. You find out that Jason Statham's the one that killed Han and whatnot. And then that's why they start going after Jason Statham because he killed Han, and which is why when there's this whole thing like justice for Han because now Jason Statham's a good guy, but he still killed a character that was a family member. And so that's almost like, and now they brought Han back. But even when they bring him back, the answer is basically like, oh yeah, he's just back. But how? Just because. But how? It was a magic trick. But how did it work? He was in the car.
They're very
It was
good at making things look real.
right. It's like what? What? Like the movie like mentions things and they're like I said, this movie is a good example of just because they call attention to it because they say it, they think that it's okay, and it's like you might want to do a little more work, but either way, Han's back.
Strike a no. It wasn't really off screen because they kind of showed it, but they didn't really show how the mechanics of it worked. They just showed the explosion happening, but him not being in the explosion.
Right. It was the equivalent of those moments when you see like Jason Bourne standing on the side of a street, and then a car drives by, and then when the car like finishes driving by, the guy is just gone. That's equivalent. That's the equivalent of what this was. And like in reality, that doesn't make sense because it's like if you're looking at somebody and the car drives by, you're gonna see them running in whichever direction they're running. So I would have even taken it if like there was like a sewer grate there and like he climbed out of the car into the sewer and then the car exploded. Like I don't understand that that's not even like the bare minimum of what you do.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna show it like maybe it was a different guy that was in there, or I don't know, but no, they didn't explain it at all. You're right. I think there definitely were a lot of problems, but I think very early on I just threw my hands up in the air and I was like, oh well, I already know there like none of this is gonna make sense, so I'm just gonna roll with it, and that's exactly what I did.
I mean,
I think I just know. Again, like I said so many times, like this movie knew what this movie was and what it was gonna be, and they set the bar for what it was gonna be at the beginning. So I just took it at that bar, and I was like, this is not gonna make any sense. I'm just gonna watch it and enjoy it for the nonsense that it is. There was nothing really in there that was like so off the rails from what was like. I don't know. I think it was just because everything was so consistently ridiculous that it all made sense. and so therefore just I just stopped questioning things because I was like, none of it is gonna make sense, and they already told me this, so I'm just gonna stop asking questions.
Yes, magnets that are strong enough to pull cars to you, but not strong enough to pull the car that you're in to other things.
Right, or a laptop that you're just
or a laptop
putting some mild pressure on.
I'm not even like this. I'm just like arms spread.
Right, because every time he picked up a knife or a gun in the truck, it would just like out of his hand. But a laptop,
no,
it's fine.
Yeah. Just put an arm on top of it. It's fine.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh god. Oh man. Well, anyway, we've been talking about this for a while. We should go ahead and get out of here. Is there any other things you wanted to say before we check out?
No, I'm good.
Well, if you guys want to hear us talk about this and more, you guys can check us out on our channel, twitch.tv/C3Films, where we discuss more about our opinions and also just other things and just have a general good time. It'd be great to see you over there. But that's what we thought about this movie. That's what we thought about Fast 9, the Fast Saga. Have you guys seen it? It's been out for a while, but if you haven't seen it, it's on HBO Max. What did you guys think about it? Did you think it was ridiculous? Were you kind of like me, where you just kind of started throwing your hands up and like, none of this you just couldn't stretch your imagination any further? Or were you like Cheryl and you just said, you know what, it's all stupid, so it's all good? Whatever you thought about it, comment below, let us know. And while you're down there, if you guys like, share, subscribe. Even if you don't though, I have been Chris, and this has been
Cheryl, and we'll see you all next time.